फूल तुम पर फरिश्ते निछावर करे और कुशादा तरक्की की राह करे फूल
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Ausaf Mirza.
And my name is Rayan Mirza.
And we are from the Mississauga West region. For our Abdus Salam Science Fair project this year, we decided to create a bicycle generator. Starting off with our hypothesis. If enough chemical energy is converted into electrical energy, then it can power a light bulb or other appliances.
The law of conservation of energy says that energy can neither be created nor destroyed, and the total energy in a system is conserved. Since the energy is conserved, the electrical chemical energy in the person's body is converted into mechanical energy in the bicycle, then electrical energy in the motor.
This is our model for our original project. So the parts we used for our project were a 2x4 wood, a V-belt, a diode, a battery, an inverter, wires and alligator clips, and a 12-volt motor.
So how did we build a bicycle generator? For the first step, we found a working bicycle and removed the back tire. We then used the bike to generate mechanical energy.
For our next step, we built a stand to elevate the bike.
And then we elevated the motor using a stand.
Next, we attached a V-belt to the rear tire. We used the V-belt to create a link between the motor and the wheel.
Ampere's law states that an electric charge passing through a looped circuit produces a magnetic field. The interaction of the internal electromagnet with a surrounding fixed magnet produces a force that causes the movement of the armature.
So how is the current produced? The spinning tire causes the motor shaft to rotate, which produces a current through the leads. This was in accordance with the Faraday's law, which states that whenever an electrically conducting object or material passes through a magnetic field, an electric current will begin to flow through it.
There are two types of current. There is direct current, DC, and alternating current, AC. For example, a car battery provides DC for all the electric components. Our homes are powered by AC.
We learned that we can't connect our lamp directly to the motor unless we use an inverter. So the current that was produced was DC and the inverter changed it to AC.
The electrical energy produced was enough to light up the lamp.
And finally, for our final step, we attached our light bulb to the inverter, and that was our working project.
When working on the project, we faced a couple of problems. We learned that the bulb would turn off if we did not pedal constantly or when we stopped pedaling. We thought if there was a way to store the energy that was produced which can later be used to light up the bulb constantly. The bike stand was also difficult to make, as it was not able to support the weight of the rider. We decided to flip the bike, and instead of riding, we decided to use our hands to pedal.
So how can we expand on this project? We conducted a research to see how the energy can be stored, and we saw that using a battery will do so. We then got a battery, but that still wasn't enough. We wanted to have the current flow only in one direction, so we used a diode.
We used a diode where we connected it between the motor and the battery. The anode was pointed towards the motor, and the cathode was pointed towards the positive terminal of the battery. The battery also acts as a middleman, where we store the energy that can be utilized later, like how a solar panel operates.
Then we placed the diode in a series with the motor and the battery.
For the data collection, we found out that using a voltmeter, we found out that the voltage was 12 volts and the amps was 3.3 amps.
For our results, we found that in part 1, if the voltage wasn't consistent, then the bulb will not light up consistently. We ensured that the voltage was constant and stable. When we stopped pedaling, the bulb would stop and the energy wasn't stored. For our part 2 project, we incorporated a battery and a diode which stored the charge in one direction and kept the bulb consistent. There also needed to be a huge tension in the V-belt for consistency in lighting the bulb.
In conclusion, our hypothesis was correct.
Jazakallah.
दिल में सजा